you are doing it to harass a person off of the server. By all means, go find a different community. That is not our intent, and you are exploiting our systems.
Holy W, Steven. Steven has never looked more attractive in my entire life. I'm going to be honest. Okay. That was a huge W take. All right. Look, we agree with PvP and like fighting over resources and shit, but Steven took a firm stance. He actionably banned people who were exploiting the PvP system, and he moved the on. Such a perfect response. And I don't say that very often. Okay, it's not like they pay me to say good things about Ashes of Creation. That was a huge W move. I wish that Perlibus would have done the same damn thing. Yeah, if Perlibus had just done this, none of the deck changes and shit needed to happen for any reason. Holy moly, bro. So Asmon got griefed out of his mind in Ashes of Never Being Created. Okay. And the community is up in a tizzy about this. The reason this is relevant for BDO is because BDO goes through this exact same thing. We went through this huge drama, and I want to show everybody what a good developer does when you're going through this drama. This is insane. I love the reaction.
Drama. Today, we have quite the debate and news to discuss involving MMO.
Look at this face. This guy's a gremlin. I think that Asmon described himself as the Lich King of the incels recently, and I have to say, it's fair. It's fair.
Ashes of Creation, which is still in its Alpha 2 phase, and Asmongold. Apologies in advance, as I've been very sick this past week and lost my voice, so I might sound a little different and audio may not be as good. But anyways, I was originally uploading this video titled Ashes of Creation is not a gank box. This video was to highlight the reality of how penalizing corruption and non-consensual PvP is, despite the pre-Alpha 2 notion that the game was going to be a gank box in which you'd constantly be killed and or griefed via open world PvP. But the timing of this video could not have been worse, and thus here I am re-recording it. Why, may you ask?
Tragic.
Well, Asmongold finally logged into Ashes of Creation's Alpha 2 test here on the game's third weekend, and well, it went something like this.
I'm in. Holy shit.
I love how we have two Asmongolds and me on the left side. That's crazy.
Oh my god. Yo, what's up, boys? Wait. This guy's attack. How does this guy attack me?
First time?
Wait, I'm getting killed. Oh my god.
True. True. Almost full head of hair. Obviously balding.
Yeah. This went on for a bit too.
It's not the same shirt. Shut up.
Okay.
What did you do? I mean, just look at me.
So what I even need to do here? It's gonna be too bright. It looks okay to me.
And watch, bro. So this is whenever somebody one-shot me, right?
Oh, bro, what a dick sucker. I never even saw him.
For clarity.
What a little rat.
I'll be honest. As somebody that's played an open world PvP game, the majority of his streaming career, or the majority of his career, and then has to deal with shit like this all the time, I think that Ashes of Creation's biggest L here was allowing PvP in the starting zone. Is just, what are we thinking? Like, why is PvP turned on at level 1? Even in BDO, it's turned on at level 50.
Oh, somebody killed me. Oh, and shit. Then he went.
One of my favorite parts about this is that you literally turn into a pile of ash. Ashes of Creation. There it is. They've been created.
Behind the rock!
What a rat.
Do you see this shit?
He's frame by framing it, bro. That's again, bro. That's how they work, bro.
Oh god. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna fast forward to the take, guys.
I just don't want to deal with it, right?
Now, this has since bred a lot of discussion and debate around the Ashes of Creation community and perhaps the broader MMO community. I happened to be online when all this drama, if you will, was occurring. And from the system messages posted by Steven, I just knew what was going on.
Yeah.
People were flooding to Asmongold's location. Zone chat.
Leave the bald one alone. What a surprise. They knew it was about me.
It's fair. People say the same thing about me.
That was
Isn't
filled
that
with
nice?
anger and debate as people argued about whether or not it was okay for them to grief Asmongold as he loaded into the starter zone. Was it okay to just kill him as soon as he loads into the game?
Have you seen the Pirate Software Drama 2? No, I haven't seen that. I should see that one next. It's funny how a bunch of non-PvPers try a PvP game and then dislike PvP in the said game. Yeah, Apucci, I would generally agree. I think that having PvP on all the time is kind of a risk that you take playing a game like Ashes. However, I don't think that a player should be able to be griefed out of the starting gate. Right? Even in BDO where PvP is always on, and it was for years, even with if you go to before the open world changes that we had recently, you had to wait till level 50 in order to actually hit somebody, and then PvP was always on and somebody could run you down like the dog that you are. But that's what you signed up for in the game. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I think the biggest problem here is that, again, you shouldn't be able to hit people in the starting zone like that. That's just stupid. That would be like new players spawning in BDO. And guys, tell me that people would not do this. If you could literally sit on the Olvius server and let new players spawn in, and you could just sit there and farm them at level 1, tell me that players would not do that. And it would ruin the experience of the game for those new players. That would not be fun. Okay, that's not fun. You need to let them get to know the game a little bit and then hunt them into the ground. You know what I mean?
Game. For those of you not aware, Ashes of Creation does have open world PvP,
It does.
That's what this video was originally going to focus on. There is a somewhat intricate corruption system that balances.
Turn off PvP. Y'all gonna bring Steven out. LOL. Leave Brittany alone. He's lost. If you guys healed the report bug and helped me the game out, what the f? As y'all shit talk the game would be done by Xmas on. If y'all guys just put in report bugs and help the game out as much as y'all shit talk, the game would be done by Christmas. That's a wild statement, bro. The Duck Lord has spoken. I don't remember playing Ashes. That's strange.
Is this capability of non-consensual PvP by punishing the person doing the killing,
of course.
assuming the other player did not flag up / attack back or consent to this, right? I won't go too much into detail with
To be fair, Brittany was also bald.
this as I've done so in too many videos, but Intrepid Studios, developer of this MMO, has made a lot of progress in balancing this corruption system to the point it is extremely detrimental for you to go corrupted, and it is very seldom seen. In fact, just days ago, we received a patch updating the corruption system to be even more harsh and get rid of some of those workarounds that players were using.
That's a lot.
Just like the karma changes in BDO, guys. That's essentially what's happening here.
Not only do you drop up to 3 pieces of gear, incur what seems to be increased XP debt, have reduced combat efficacy, but now you also have a movement speed reduction, and you have this new Blight debuff. Here's Steven explaining the Blight debuff on Pirate Software stream recently.
Blight is essentially a cumulative PK score that gets kept track of as a stat on your character. And even if you have no corruption, but you killed 30 people over the last 5 days and you worked off that corruption, your 31st kill will accrue much faster corruption, and so will your 32nd and 33rd, regardless of your corruption states.
So essentially what that means, guys, is it's like losing karma in the karma system. If you were negative 1,000,000 karma and you worked all of that karma off, and then you go all the way back to positive karma again, the game will remember that you were just negative karma, and you will lose more karma on your next kill because you were just negative karma. That's essentially what it's like.
So
like the penalties in Ashes for killing other players is essentially so high that there's no reason to do it anymore. So like, as much as they want to tout it as this open world PvP game, they've basically already completely obliterated the open world PvP by punishing it that hard. And again, I don't think that that was the play. I think that the play was to just like let people hit a certain level and then flip PvP on and let them go, bro. Like, I don't understand why you're just turbo fucking people on day one. Like,
It's a bad
that is
boy meter.
intended to help kind of curtail the amount of corruption that's happening. Now there will be
what's the point of PvP then? So true, Zagu.
a religious-based quest that through the investment of resources and time, players can reduce that
Religious and all
cumulative
the
score
praise.
to bring themselves back down.
So somebody says in chat, why not just disable the feature to PvP unflagged players? Weird. There's a lot of people that like the idea of being able to kill other players non-consensually.
Caught. Okay, like that's pretty much, that's at the heart of it right there. That's the heart of it right there. Players just want to be able to kill people and bully people in an open world PvP game like this. That's the whole shit, okay? That's the whole point. That's what it was all about in BDO 2. And at a certain point, the developers have to say, okay, we stand by the PvPers, these people, or we stand with the PvEers, the PvPers, right? Like there's really no in between on it. If you try to dance on the line, it's just never going to work out. You need to figure out what you want for your game and then stick to it.
My opinion on this is that any game that allows you to have non-consensual PvP will cannibalize itself, and it will never be a mainstream game.
Is he wrong? No. All right. I think that cannibalize might be the wrong word for the game as a whole. BDO was actually really successful for a long time, but I don't know if I would have called it a mainstream game, right? It's not like Fortnite or World of Warcraft or any of these other really big games. So he's right about this. A very niche game that applies to niche players. And you just have to understand, this is our game appeals to these players, or our game does not appeal to these players. And you need to take your stance and you need to sit on that fence. All right, or you can't sit on the fence. You need to just come down on one side and stick to it. The reason BDO has been destroying itself recently is because the devs very openly supported PvPers for a really long time, and then out of nowhere about 6 to 10 months ago they just decided that they were going to 180 that position, and that's why now they've lost all their PvPers and they already alienated all their PvEers, so people are finding like a hard time playing the game. I will say that cannibalism is a great word to describe the PvP scene in PvP games, because inevitably what happens is you have the big guild eats the small guild. Okay, the small guild dies and merges into the big guild. Okay, and then the bigger guild than them eats them, and they merge into the bigger guild still. And like, this goes on in PvP communities. You can see this. It happened in BDO. It happened in, especially with the new node war system. I can explain it very briefly with the new node war system. Essentially, you had 3 caps for node wars. Okay, you had like the T1 node wars, which are like the new player node wars, then T3, which was like capped, and then you had T5, which is uncapped, big strong node wars. Okay, all the guilds eventually started by dropping on uncapped, and they were having a good time until they started getting farmed. And then the bottom 20 to 30% of guilds were like, well, we can't ever win anymore, so we're gonna drop on tier 3 and we're gonna shit on those guilds. So the bottom tier 3 guilds, the bottom 20 to 30% of those T3 guilds, said, well, we can't win here anymore, so we're just going to go shit on the T1 guilds, and they shifted down. Well, eventually the T5 guilds ran out of people to fight, so they said, well, we can't get a fight here, so we're going to go to the T3 scene, and we're going to shit on these people. So the people that ran from them on the T5 scene were like, this, we're going to go to T1s. Ultimately, what happened was the scene completely cannibalized itself until everyone ended up on tier 1 node wars, and then the bottom 20% of guilds just kept quitting the game. And the scene cannibalized itself until there was nothing left. Okay. And that's what the new node war scene did to BDO. So cannibalize is a great word. You just didn't explain it too much.
There will always be people that like those games and people that play them.
Correct.
But you basically make the ceiling for your game extremely low. Those dipshits? No, I'm just saying, right? And so, like, bit wrong, Lineage 2?
When he says ceiling for your game, he means how many players are going to play your game, right? Your total player count for the game. So the ceiling is low because you're only appealing to the small margin of players.
Well, I think that's my point, right? Yeah, that's exactly my point. Low? Yeah. It's not going to have like the same player base size as like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14.
There it is.
I'll take Elden Ring, the Souls games.
Not even MMOs. That. Oh no, he's.
That's not even worth responding to. Let's move on. Anyway, so basically what I'm saying is that any game that has non-consent.
Well, he compared it to Final Fantasy, and I'll be honest with you, his analogy kind of falls apart because Final Fantasy typically has less players than BDO does. Right? Unless there's like an expansion or some new shit coming out. You see it's relatively consistent across the board. It's like 22,000, right? It got up to 25 on the expansion release, right? 20,000, 20,000, right? And Black Desert, if you look at Black Desert's Steam charts, over time, you're looking at like, 33,000, 20,000, 24, 18, 20. So they have close to the same 30, 21, 34, 28, 24, 23, 28. So like recently BDO's had like reasonable, right? Like reasonably close numbers. So if he considers that a mainstream game, then Black Desert is kind of a mainstream game in that regard. But then they killed their PvP player base and now it's definitely not, right? So
consensual PvP, because you think about it, right? A game that has non-consensual PvP, this would only logically affect people that don't want to PvP.
Yeah, Final Fantasy's on Steam, but so is BDO and Final Fantasy. Both have their own launchers. You can buy them on both.
Or people that want to kill other people that don't want to PvP. And you think about like what kind of a person wants to go after and enable themselves to kill people that don't want to be killed.
A troll.
Well, somebody who wants to negatively impact the game experience of those other players in a obstructive way.
True.
Their goal is for that other player to have a bad time.
Correct.
So as I mentioned, there was a lot of debate and semantics as a result of the Asmongold drama. Was Steven showing preferential treatment? Is this not a PvP-focused MMO? And does
so they turned PvP off because Asmon was being griefed, and then he stopped playing the game anyway.
people should be allowed to kill Asmongold if they...
That's why I stopped playing. Is because I knew this was going to happen and it was going to create drama. Yep. I just don't want to deal with it.
I want to give Asmon some serious props here. Because he started getting griefed in the game, and I think we skipped over it at the start, but his immediate reaction was he goes, guys, I'm just going to have to come back and play this off stream because I don't want to start drama, because he knew that's exactly what was going to happen. If he stayed in the game, they're going to turn off PvP. There was going to be an adverse thing. He was going to get a lot of backlash. The community, like the game suffers for it. And like, I just want to give him props that like he really did try to circumvent the situation. It still happened anyway, but he at least tried to let the PvPers have their game the way that they wanted to have it.
There was a lot of discussion on this, and GMs even disabled PvP on our server as a result of the Asmon killings.
Yeah.
Though it was too late and he had already given up on attempting to have a normal experience.
Well, it's also that I understand that this is a very contentious issue for the MMO community.
Yep.
And I could see it being interpreted badly with like hardcore players, that streamers could get preferential treatment. Now,
there it is.
I'm not, and also, by the way, I don't think that I am. I think that if people are like constantly running after me and killing me nonstop because they're watching me on my stream and triangulating my location, this is clearly out of game behavior and it's griefing at a certain point.
True. So based. Holy shit. It absolutely is griefing. What are we talking about? Right? And those same losers like Maddies, I love you Maddies, but like these people literally will just watch you on stream and they'll just shit on you the whole time, and they're like, you shouldn't get special treatment. Well, you're giving them special treatment by literally watching their stream, triangulating their location, and dumpstering them all the time. This is what the fuck they do. Like, and they think that, oh, it's the streamer getting special treatment. No, you're giving them special treatment because you wouldn't be griefing them otherwise. It wouldn't matter to you. Like,
So I actually do think that they should get in trouble for it, but I also acknowledge that this will not be how average people will see it. And it will cause a lot of discord and drama, and it will be bad for the game as a whole.
Personally believe there is a difference between PvP and griefing. There is a difference between PvP and stream sniping. There is a difference between PvP and harassment. Steven went as far as to even ban some of the individuals.
Here's the thing. People that want non-consensual PvP want to harass. They want to grief. That's why they want it. That's the whole point.
For the repeated attacks on Asmongold during this time.
This?
Yeah. So I have said many times in the past that our stance on griefing will always be it's an actionable offense. And to be fair, the players that I banned yesterday are players who I gave 3 separate warnings to stop griefing this brand new logged in player. That isn't preferential treatment. I don't care if it was Asmongold or Joe Schmo off the side of the street. If it's a new player trying to learn the game, you going and harassing and killing that person for no political motivation, for no opportunity cost, for no scarcity of resources, all the reasons why PvP should exist, you are doing it for opposite of that. You are doing it to harass a person off of the server. By all means, go find a different community. That is not our intent, and you are exploiting our systems.
holy fucking W, Steven. Steven has never looked more attractive in my entire life. I'm going to be honest. Okay. That was a huge W take. All right. Look, we agree with PvP and like fighting over resources and shit, but Steven took a firm stance. He actionably banned people who were exploiting the PvP system, and he moved the on. Such a perfect response. And I don't say that very often. Okay, it's not like they pay me to say good things about Ashes of Creation. That was a huge W move. I wish that Perlibus would have done the same damn thing. Yeah, if Perlibus had just done this, none of the deck changes and shit needed to happen for any reason. Holy moly, bro.
Good. Hell yeah. No, I 100% agree with that.
So good.
Yeah,
so
this
true.
is. It's going to be very hard for something like this to actually happen.
So well
I'll
said.
be very surprised if this actually works, because every game that has non-consensual PvP, the entire reason why people want it is to do that exact thing.
That's not necessarily always true. There's a small Asmon's probably got like a very narrow-minded take on it, but like he hasn't necessarily been embraced in a world of open world PvP all the time for the last 10 years. Like some of the rest of us have. So like most open world PvP, like healthy, good open world PvP, happens around over competition for resources. A good example of this is when Black Desert started. Players would compete, and you would walk into a grind zone with the intent that you're going to flag up and kill whoever's on the grind zone. Not because you hate the player, right? It's because you need the resources of the grind zone, and the grind zone is really busy, right? So you would walk in, you flag up, you kill them, right? And then they would swap servers and try to kill the next person on the next server, right? And you were competing for resources in this way. And because you were doing this, PvP did not feel nearly as bad when Black Desert started. In fact, it was fun, and it was very motivating for a lot of players. Even when you lost, you're like, damn it. And it was kind of negative motivation to keep playing the game, and like go get your gear so that the next time you fought somebody, you could win if you were good enough and just had the gear score. You know what I mean? Over time, Black Desert's grind zones widened out. The world got bigger. They introduced like instanced grinding and things like this. And there were far less players. And so instead, what open world PvP became was targeted harassment on players. So instead, they weren't walking into your grind zone to take control of your grind zone. They were walking into your grind zone to kill Blue Squadron. Or they were walking into their grind zone to kill Multirix. Or someone very particular. And then if you swap servers, they would swap with you and kill you on the next one and the next one and the next one, because there weren't enough players for them to find meaningful open world PvP where competition for resources was good. Open world PvP can absolutely be healthy in a game, and people can enjoy it, but it needs to be over competition for resources. I think what Steven did here was an absolute objective W, because you just eliminate the toxic pieces of shit who are trying to make it personal, who are trying to be like basically grief and exploit the system for what it's not supposed to be used for, right? And then you just allow the other PvPers to keep doing their thing. I think that is a W overall.
Like, my personal opinion is that I can't really see a reason why you would have non-consensual PvP besides griefing.
Competition for resources. And again, he doesn't know. He did play a decent amount of BDO when it started. He spent hundreds of hours. He just probably doesn't remember.
That's rad as hell, man.
Our server is already home to a couple of streamers, and people express dissatisfaction with another streamer in Asmongold arriving as well. However, this is something Asmon is used to. He loads into a game and there's players swarming all around him, wanting to be seen on screen, wanting some sort of acknowledgement from Asmongold the Bald. The difference with this MMO is that PvP is essentially always on. No matter what side you are on in this debate, I think it's fair to say
this was a crazy situation where, guys, anyone with the super Giga Chad mount is $90. $90, $90, $90, $90, $90, $90. Like it's Blizzard just, bro, they just, I love it. Brokies. This guy doesn't have the $90 keys, the Broke Boy skin.
That Asmongold has a lot of influence, and the targeted griefing of Asmongold caused a huge loss of potentially good marketing for the game. An AOC video by Asmongold.
Well, to be fair, obviously that's true.
Yep.
And this is another reason why these games don't go anywhere, is because games that focus on having like this type of PvP, a lot of people like killing streamers and content creators because they don't like the fact that streamers and content creators exist. They don't like them.
True. Bro, the degenerates that I met in Barcode, that was literally their reason. Streamers. Like that's literally it. Streamers, and if you were not on their team, you were getting turbo shit on. Like, that's just the way that it goes. They just dig salty little over streamers.
So they're going to do that, and that's why you see a lot of these games fall apart. The reason why a lot of companies pay streamers to play games is because paying streamers to play games helps the games.
True.
So, like, if you have people that are going to play your game that get run off by the community, you are effectively losing money.
Gets much more views than any video a dedicated AOC content creator like myself, Narc, or others.
Well, in fairness, yes, he's getting more views, but also he's watching your videos too. So it's like kind of circularly good for the community. It helps that content. It helps whatever creator he's reacting to. It helps them. It helps the community. Also gets more visibility on the game. It's just a win-win.
Video a dedicated AOC content creator like myself, Narc, or others, or even the official AOC YouTube channel itself will
a lot of people watch
I
videos,
agree with Asmongold in that he should not get preferential treatment, but I also agree he deserves to have a normal experience and see this MMO for himself.
My actual position on this is that people that are hunting me down, watching my stream to triangulate my location, and then killing me because I'm a streamer, I think that is preferential treatment.
It is.
Fundamentally, it is, right?
And it's against TOS, no question. And as long as developers react like Steven did, it's a huge win for them. The problem in BDO for a really long time is Perlibus is useless. They're completely useless. That's that they don't support their content creators. And so like creators got ran down for a long time until one of the creators being griefed was Korean. And then suddenly they got all the help in the world that they needed. The TOS changed and all kinds of crazy shit.
Right? Because I'm being treated differently in game because of something that's out of game. So I think that really banning people and like getting rid of people that are doing that is actually making sure that I don't get preferential treatment, making sure that I can have a normal, authentic experience playing the game. So like, that's my actual opinion, but I understand that there's a lot of people in the MMO community that they just don't want that.
They're not going to have that.
Whether that's the 100%. Right opinion or not,
it is the right opinion.
They don't want that opinion.
Yeah, and they're not going to respect
it that way. Exactly.
And they'll be in your comment section like Gremlins.
Video
like I already went through this with
portraying the game as an insufferable gank box is enough to cost Intrepid a lot of money and potential revenue, whilst also diminishing its reputation. And even if you don't care about that, if you enjoy this game and want to see it succeed in such a stale MMO genre, then surely you must realize that griefing Asmongold on stream will inevitably just cause the population of this Alpha 2 test to slowly drop and
They don't care.
fail to bring in.
I think that I'm being used too much as an example here. The fact is that
Also
if
true.
it can happen to me, it will happen to other players too, because being able to do it is funny. It's literally that simple. It's funny to be able to kill somebody over and over, and so they can't play the game.
Yeah, and the trick as a streamer is to literally just give no response to it at all. Or just completely disengage like Asmon did. He's a professional at it. He gets it. I do the same thing when I get griefed. I'm just like, okay, I'll just go play something else.
Yeah, so like
And then let the community cannibalize those people.
it might happen to me first, but it's going to also happen to other new players. Like,
I'm all in for streamers having their own private servers so that this can't happen. No, you don't want that either. The streamers need, like, part of good content and making great content for a game is organically working with other players in an MMO. Okay, you want to be able to play with other people. You don't want to be, you don't want to be playing with that. That is super preferential treatment. You don't really want that, right? You don't want to give the streamers preferential treatment, but you do need to draw a line in the sand as to where your TOS is actually being broken. And that's exactly what Steven did.
I'm basically the I'm the test, right? I am the alpha test. Yeah, exactly.
True.
Streamer, what's this here? Streamer players especially. Well, yeah, of course. You have a lot of influence, but definitely you're a good example of this. So people take a notice of. Yeah, if you know that you can shut somebody else, basically, for a lot of griefers and gankers, the biggest reward is to make somebody stop playing the game. And when you think,
Yeah, those people just need to be banned. You just ban those people. Like, if they're doing it deliberately so that they're going to quit the game or whatever, right? Not like, oh, we're going to get your guild to quit or we're going to kill your guild. That's a lot different. If you're literally targeting one player specifically and you're desperately trying to get them to quit the game, you need to be banned. It's literally just that simple.
think about that on just a fundamental level. Is this a good thing that you want to have for your game? Where like you have an entire contingency of your player base that their main goal is to stop people from playing it? No, I don't really think so. So, and how do I know this? I used to do it. That's how I know. And so like, of course, that's what's going to happen.
Less viewers.
That's what BDO players do. Exactly, and they should be banned. If Perlibis had just banned like griefers in BDO who literally just follow you server to server and just want to make your life specifically a horrible life, they should have been permabanned long ago. And then one-sided decks never needed to change. Karma never needed to change. None of that shit needed to change. Just ban the people that are exploiting the system. It's really easy.
Than it would have if you did not provide such negative publicity. And even if you don't care about that, if you enjoy this game and want to see it succeed in such a stale MMO genre, then you must realize that griefing Asmon on stream will inevitably just cause the population
I love
of this
that
Alpha
fox.
2 test
That fox
to
looks so
slowly
cool.
drop and or fail.
It's a net negative when streamers leave a game. It definitely is.
It's true.
While it brings in less viewers than it would have had without the negative publicity. What Asmongold experienced is a one-off and different from the experience
it, though?
that you or I had.
Is it a
However, I
one-off?
want to keep this as fair and as balanced of an outlook as I can. How much of this is on the development team, I'm sure you're asking. On one hand, they are in an early alpha phase focused on testing networking and performance with limited systems and content available. On the other hand, the new player experience is very important for first impressions. We recently saw this with Soda Poppin's Rage Quit, and I know for a fact that players were griefing lobies at the starting area during the NDA pre-alpha 2 testing. So
Yep.
why has the PvP suppression zone still not been implemented to at least the Lionhold area or even the starter room? This is
It's because they don't have it ready yet. It was like some like programming thing.
I would not write that off, dude. They've had like 8 years to make sure that the starting zone doesn't have PvP. That should have been. They knew the Alpha 2 was coming. There's no excuse, and that's where I think that they f***ed up here is that PvP should be turned off in the starting zone. It's like obvious, right? Until you reach a certain level, you shouldn't be able to be touched. Like,
I think Steven messaged me about it. Like there's no philosophical reason. It's just that it wasn't set up.
it was for testing PvP because it was only a few days.
hopefully
Yeah.
actually coming soon, but should have been implemented as the larger public starts to get their first look at
gotta have
Vera
safe
through the
zones,
lens
man.
of the Asmongolds of the
And I think that there are safe zones in Ashes of Creation, but I think they just up and didn't have it in the starter zone. Even when PvP's turned on, they should have had it in the starter zone.
World.
Yeah, sure.
Either way,
He's
I
right.
just
I've not seen Soulframe now.
wanted to stress that the developers over at Intrepid Studios have done a good job to ensure this game is not a gank box by making corruption extremely penalizing. So I hope that the Asmongold outlier isn't taken as the evidence that the game is indeed a gank box. And for those of you that didn't know, Steven was actually trying to teleport Asmongold away from the area, but their system was just like kind of bugging out. I've watched
So many
feedback
people.
from other content creators on Ashes of Creation, even the feedback of some large creators who claimed you wouldn't like Ashes of Creation and that it will be a gank box, but they did not experience anything of the sort. I'd like you all to leave your comments below and let me know your take on all this. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button as it helps others to find it.
I'm going to link his video too, guys.
If you're new, please consider subscribing
really
for
nice.
more Ashes of Creation content. And if you're a tank enjoyer, make sure you
Not yet, actually. The first time I came into Jovia, I watched a man get assassinated at the merchant. Yeah, see, that's a problem. Okay, when you're in a town, you should have a safe zone, but the rest of the world can be open PvP. You gotta be able to like gate it in, bro.
click
Like,
the video on screen. Thank you so much for watching. It's been nice.
Good one. So yeah, I think, yeah, good video. Yeah, I think so too. It's a pretty fair, measured out video. And to me, the reason why I kind of stepped away from it is because I knew the discord and trouble it was going to create.
True.
Just not a fan of the forced PvP. I don't think that many people are fans of forced PvP. And
they aren't.
the only people that really are usually people that want to take advantage of it and use it to harass people. So yeah, griefing level play is the fastest way to kill a game. There's absolutely no reason PvP should be enabled in the starting zone. PvP immune in the small starting zones. I think that if you have a game where PvP is non-consensual, you will eventually have people quit the game because of that. Because
Of course, but the game isn't for them. You can't make a game that appeals to everyone, right? So you need to choose. Am I appealing to the PvP players or am I appealing to the PvE players? Like, make your choice, right?
Because there's a lot of casual players that want to make progress over time. And when you only have, like, let's say an hour to play the game, if 20 minutes of that time is spent getting ganked, a third of the time that you were going to play the game has been taken away from you. And so this actually affects casual players much worse than it affects other random players.
It does.
And I think that's one of the biggest issues that a lot of people might not really seem to realize, but it is massively problematic. People will not do this. Corruption is way worse than you think. You'll lose your entire investment if you gank people. Only the most desperate will.
I think that to speak on that, I think that at the start of an MMO's life, it's okay to like let PvP kind of go a little bit nuts in a lot of cases because there's a lot of players. And players want to be able to fight each other because it's content. Everybody loves beating the crap out of each other. And everyone has enough friends playing the game that they can go bash each other. But as the MMO starts to age a little bit, you do have to start coddling more and more and more to the casual PvE player base that you need to try to maintain. Because if those players all quit your game, then you don't really have anybody left.
I think that what people will probably do is they will probably have, like, one thing that I know about...
And that's how good stories are made. Yeah, true. Most of my good stories from early in my Black Desert experience were all like, dude, like I would start a guild mission in Helms, and then like 30 minutes into the guild mission, I start getting griefed. I'm like, they're grieving me, and I can't even guild mission. And then like the guild officers and the GM are like, we're on our way. I'm like, oh, okay. So I respawn. And I'll never forget it. I respawn, and there's Vercanorix. Awakening Witch was super good back then. He was standing over 4 corpses. He was just standing over 4 corpses, and he said, go. Finish the guild mission. I'll handle this. And I was like, my God, that guy's a unit. You know what I mean? Like that's what I wanted. I was like, I want to be that guy. You know what I mean? So like, experiences like that really motivated me to like continue playing the game, you know, in a meaningful, very like concerted effort to do that. You know what I mean? So that I could be that guy someday. And I did become that guy. It was so cool. It was really, really fun.
MMO systems like this
The dude was giga. That's right. Welcome back for 12 months.
Just resubscribed for 12 months. Dude was giga.
Yeah. Welcome back for 1 full year, buddy. Lotus for POTUS. I really appreciate you. Thanks so much, man.
that there are people who are unemployed and they will make it their job to make this system work at their advantage. If you can do anything that can negatively affect another player, you should not expect that it can happen. You should expect that it will happen. And it will happen as much as it possibly can. Because the power fantasy of being able to affect another player's experience like that is very compelling to gankers and people like that. Somebody is going to do it. Other players should be able to gank you, but you should that should directly and immediately give you so much experience it makes you stronger so that they can't do it again. No, because then people just exploit that. So yeah, they'll make a grief account and funnel it gear. People will grief almost no matter what the consequences are. Yeah, exactly.
True.
If they make it so onerous to do, why even make it a mechanism? I don't know. And
that's the biggest problem, is I think that Ashes has already kind of come down on the PvEers side. I don't think they really needed to take such a severe approach to it. I really do think that if Steven had just said, yeah, we're just going to ban you if you're just blatantly harassing people, but open world PvP is okay if you're competing for resources and stuff. Like, okay, well, then that's reason, right? That's fine. You could also make the argument that, like, okay, well, PvP is only ever going to be turned on when we want there to be competition for resources. And that'd be okay, too.
Ganking low levels is just a childish thing to do and allow. You can say whatever you want about doing it, and you can say, like, whether it's bad or not. But I'll link you guys the guy's video. This is a pretty good video. I think it was fair. And
if you've never had the experience of, like, getting together with your homies and then going to gank some person that you hate in an enemy guild, I'm not sure if you've fully lived the MMO experience. I mean, it's something. It's truly something. It feels good. It's fun.
Definitely accurate. Perp and deserved, not preferential treatment, but sensible treatment. Stupid thing is alpha is not pay to play. Why would you try to harm the success of the game? I think a lot of people are going to see it that way.
Yeah.
And overall, I just don't want to deal with like a bunch of drama and pressure. And the PvPers won't play because they want to grief casuals, not actually fight good players, so they'll quit too. It's a cycle. Yeah, you're right about that. Just make a PvP server. I think they should do what they think is best for the game.
Well, no shit.
Whatever they think is best for the game, that's what they should do. And
I think what what that interprets into, guys, is I think he's saying they need to make a decision about whether they're a PvP game or not. Like, it's just that simple.
So I feel like, yeah, it's literally that simple. Let me read a few more of these. Also, you just paid $150 key to grief Asmon. I think that's probably people are just playing the game, and it just was convenient for them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, incentivize internal policing, give rewards for killing people with corruption. There will always be an incentive to kill streamers and to harass streamers.
Mm-hmm.
And that incentive will probably offset any in-game reward.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what happens. That will not work. Yeah, it's people just like doing that. They just need to fix the starting areas. I think the first thing to do is fix the starting areas. You're absolutely right. Yeah, bro, there are rewards. Yeah, exactly. Need guards or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, underestimate people's need to grieve regarding how much you'll punish them. Yeah, it's crazy why people want it. World PvP.
Yeah, I mean, cracking down on the punishment isn't going to stop it. Like, you either need to ban them or
super
like,
niche, and as much people want to say they want it, there's a reason why a game with millions of players decided to remove it completely. The vast majority don't like it. All it takes is being in the wrong place at the wrong time farming, maybe having a bad day, deciding that you want to kill somebody in your farm spot, and then that someone's guild has you on a kill on spot list. Good luck. Well, it's not even just that. It's like you try to do something in the game and you can't do it because people keep killing you.
Well, if you're in a PvP guild, it's completely different. What that guy just explained is that, like, oh, you're in a PvP guild fighting another PvP guild, and you're in a kill on the spot list. Yeah, dude, you're in a PvP list, man. Like, what are we talking? You're in a PvP guild. What are we talking about? Right? All it takes is to be in the wrong place at the wrong time farming. Maybe you have a bad day, and deciding that you want to kill someone who is in your farm spot. Yeah, dude, you chose violence. They just finished it. That's on you, big dog.
Like, just that. It's like you try to do something in the game and you can't do it because people.
You can't make a PvP game without catering to streamers. You either make a PvP game and assume that it isn't going to be streamer friendly, or make a PvE game. Yeah, I mean, BDO is not a streamer friendly game.
People keep killing you.
Like, how many streamers do you see that get really successful in BDO? Like, it's extremely uncommon.
It's like if you can't make progress in the game and you can't play the game the way you want because other people are like, you know, intentionally taking that ability away from you. Yeah, people are going to be really mad about that. Absolutely. They're going to be super frustrated. The mirror system is also exploited. The whole social aspects are exploitation fests. Yeah, but it just matters like what the checks and balances on them are. I think that's the main thing. But yeah, I think that PvP, any world PvP system should have a toggle button where you can turn it on or off. That's really like any of them, right? Any game, if you have, I don't think that having non-consensual PvP makes a game better. I think that in almost every circumstance, it makes a game worse.
I love being able to toggle PvP on and off. I think that is the ideal system for any game. Like New World, you can toggle it on, and if you toggle PvP on, you get massive rewards. That's how it should be. You toggle PvP on, it's high risk, high reward, right? You get massively rewarded if you toggle PvP on, but then you can be PvP'd everywhere, for, you know, like whatever. You know what I mean? You can't complain, right? But if you turn PvP off, then you can only be PvP'd in consensual locations.
There are some
like
people that like those games, and so if you
I disagree completely. Explain.
like those games, that's fine. However, you have to acknowledge that none of these games will ever hit the mainstream. They will always have niche audiences, and a lot of the games end up dying because the new players get killed by the older players because the older players want to be able to kill new players that are easy to kill. Wrong? Eve is the exception. Eve has been losing players for years, and it's massively unpopular.
I would say isn't Eve's player base like relatively consistent? Oh, is it on Steam? Okay. Yeah, it's pretty consistent. I would say that there's a very consistent like player base for Eve, and they're having a good time with it. Right? But Asmon's not wrong. It is a niche game. I wouldn't say it's necessarily declining. I'd say it's holding relatively steady overall. I think it's actually doing pretty well, in my opinion. I think people like it.
It's absolutely
Look at BDO. I don't want to.
Absolutely a niche game. It's a tiny game. What are we talking about? Mortal Online 2. Mortal Online 2, it has 1,000
Yeah, Eve has a crypto problem, bro.
people playing it. Guys, I'm not speaking about this. This isn't my opinion.
It is 1,000 people got Mortal Online 2. Yeah, that's a perfect example for him.
This is a statistical reality.
Yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. They're all niche games. Even BDO.
I'm not telling you, I think
BDO is the most mainstream of all the games that have non-consensual PvP. And that's why I wanted to cover this video.
This is bad. I'm telling you, the data reflects that it's bad. Flag and Karma is the best system. You die with Karma, you drop your items. Yeah, maybe. But anyway, I've got to go record and get some shit done. But we'll be back on.
Okay, so I'm going to upload this video. I'll link the Asmongold video, and then I'm going to link the original video that he watched here, because that guy deserves credit too.
Hello, gamers.
Right here. This guy right here. Boom, boom. This is the original video, which I would encourage you to interact with as well. There you go. Go support the Ashes of Creation community. We love them. Mainly because they want to play the game that I deem as kind of a scam. Got kind of. It really looks like a scam, but they're trying hard not to make it a scam. They're trying hard not to make it a scam, and that's what makes it look good. Now,